Congrats! You found $2 Late Fee, the best 80s movies podcast in the world.
We revisit our favorite 80s movies.
And sometimes 90s.
And soundtracks from our youth. And then we interview our favorite people who helped make them. All in the spirit of nostalgic positivity.
Thanks for listening.
You've never faced a real kickboxing.
And who's going to show it to me?
To be a champion, you need courage.
Why are you here?
I'm looking for a fight.
To be a king takes destiny.
10 years ago, I turned and ran. I won't run away again.
For 10 years, he has been waiting.
Heard you're unorthodox, but good.
Growing stronger.
What are you doing back here in Thailand?
Fighting harder.
You crossed the line, Jake. I'm pulling you out.
You can't!
Getting closer to the ultimate challenge.
If this is your idea of training, you're crazy!
Now is the time. Only one man can be chosen. There is one born to be King of the Kickboxers.
You are no match for him. He will destroy you.
King of the Kickboxers.
If you're not watching this on our YouTube or Spotify, please go to it now, hit the subscribe button, and see what's behind Dustin as background for his for this episode. Apparently, Loren hated this scene. He did not like that take in King of the Kickboxers, today's movie we're talking about. The scene where he's like screaming at the TV. He did not like that take, but they kept it in anyways.
Wowee. Hey, thanks for having me back. It's great to be back.
I want to just start by saying it's kind of a miracle. You've been on the show like 3 times in the past 4 weeks. For those that don't know, Dustin and I started doing this podcast almost 7 years ago.
Holy whoa.
Yeah. And we were on this journey for almost 6 years. And then December, this time last year, a year ago, Dustin did not break up with me. He just said, I'm taking a break from the show. I need to, take a step back, recalibrate. I've got other things going on in my life. I was like, sure. We talked about it ahead of time before we hit record on an episode. And so I made it more dramatic. I think we both did. For effect, and then the fires happened in Los Angeles, and that completely changed everything.
Right. I need to point out when I went on hiatus, I did not know that my entire community was going to burn down.
Yes.
So I need to make that clear.
God.
It wasn't like I'm going on.
Actually, Dustin's face was like Loren Avedon's face, Jake in King of the Kickboxer, when this all went down.
When it all went down, I was, So, so I was like, I want to take a little time away. That time away has become even more time away due to one of the worst fires claiming my home. But,
but then there's people like, what do you mean you stepped away?
Right.
For those of you, F you.
Right. Right. I imagine you have a lot of new listeners. A lot's happened, right? We, in the past year, you've kept this thing going strong. And not only that, it's so impressive. Like you, I feel like you added in more podcasts. You gave yourself more work somehow. I was like, because we had a talk and I was like, listen, Zach, I'm going to step away, but obviously, it's a lot of work. I don't want to just fucking leave you in the lurch. And you're like, no, I feel good. I can, maybe co-hosts, I can keep things going. And, but then you proceeded to I feel like you solely run 80s Kids Unite, right? Like that's just you. Like no one even does anything with that but you.
Corey said that. He's gone on record. He's like, it's your baby now. You're doing 80s Kids Unite.
So yeah, so you've got 80s Kids, you've got $2 late fee, you still do podcasting after dark. You run Territory Marks with our buddy Paul London. And then there's like a ton of extra stuff.
Patreon shows.
You're doing Patreon shows. You're really doing like about 20 to 30 things of content a month, putting it out, editing it, video, audio. So really I'm here to celebrate you and, give you your flowers, as they say. Congratulations. I assume you're a millionaire. And all the money that's just poured in from all of these.
I got to tell you, that's why I do it.
Big business. You probably have people that ask you that, right? Like, oh, how much, like you probably, oh, what a job. And you're like, no, I just work full time and get like, no.
Yeah. When I ever talk to people who are potentially wanting to get into podcasting and excited about it based on the content that they see on the show, and then you tell them what the profit is, financially, and you just see their faces get totally disinterested almost immediately. Like, oh, okay, well, moving on, because it's a long, arduous journey. However, to quote my wife, who says, are you doing it? Are you having a good time? Are you enjoying yourself? Yeah. The answer is yes. This has been a wild year, because honestly, going into this year without you, it was totally different. It was like I had my vision set on content, like what am I going to put out and how often am I going to do it? And then it kind of organically grew. And thankfully, I've had some really wonderful co-hosts with me, like Grace, Corey, Andre Gower joined for an episode talking about Silverado. That was really fun, like a celebrity episode, basically. And a lot of other things. People have reached out and to promote things, and that's been fun because the opportunities that have come out of that have been really nice. But at the end of the day, it's like, is what I'm doing enjoyable? Yes. Has it been less enjoyable because you're not with me? Yes. And so when I forget what episode it was a little while back where you came back on and, it was with your brother Lance. And I was like, this is a celebration, because it was the first time you'd been on in like, I think 6 or 7 months, 6 or 7. And that was not on purpose.
Sorry, kids.
That's not on purpose. 4-1, 1-4, whatever the
For any of you parents listening with your kids in the car, and you just set off a most annoying reaction.
I am the imposter. You guys still playing that game?
How do we stop that? How do we stop that 6-7? It's gotta exhaust itself, right?
I think it's jumped the shark. It's jumped the shark at this point, I think.
I don't know.
By the way, I explained that term to Bodie, jump the shark, because he was like, what does that mean? Because I said it and he's like, what is that? Is that from something? And he's like,
you showed him the Happy Days clip?
I didn't. I said, you don't need to see it because it's pretty bad. Yeah. But no, like, it's been really fun with everybody, but then obviously not having you, like having you and me one-on-one, this is our first time doing that. And
good. That's true. Wow.
Yeah. And so I think I'll do some more fanfare for that, because it's special. And this is so random because everyone's probably wondering, like, why the hell are you doing King of the Kickboxers in December? Time doesn't matter. But, I had James Liu on last month and did an interview with him. And then the person responsible for helping get that put together, Tammy, she's like, do you want Loren Avedon on your show? And I'm like, yeah. Big fan of his work.
Yeah.
She goes, okay. So she put me in contact with him, talked to Loren, and he's like, you want to do it in December? And I said, sure. Why not? And then I said to Dustin, want to come on and talk about King of the Kickboxers? Sorry, it was LA Street Fighter originally. LA Street Fighter.
Right.
Dustin's like, yeah, well, we're going to actually do that episode on Tales from the Video Store because Dustin hasn't been on that for a minute. So that'll be at the end of December. I said, but we should really cover King of the Kickboxers because that's like probably his most famous movie.
Loren. Yeah.
Lawrence. Yeah.
Right. Can I just say, first of all, I want to comment on your decor updates.
Oh yeah,
you
I've
because
upgraded that.
A lot has happened. You got the Jake Speed poster, which is great having that there. Streets of Fire, Rick Springfield poster, an amazing Rick Springfield, and then two sort of nods to Ernest.
Yes.
Have I been missing? Has something blossomed more in the Ernest world?
Well, not yet. Actually, yes. As of this recording, Wayne Cordova, who's been on 80s Kids Unite, and he hosts a show called Flip City Podcast and Possibility Podcast, and he's a wonderful guy. He's become our day for night East Coast boy. And he is a huge Ernest fan, and so am I. And
right, I know that about you. Yeah.
He's like, I hear you're doing these tribute episodes to various actors and stuff. I'd love to do an Ernest episode with you on Tales from the Video Store. I said, let's do it. Why not? Let's celebrate Ernest. So the month of November on Tales from the Video Store on Patreon, patreon.com/$2 late fee. You can listen to us like kind of celebrate Ernest, AKA Jim Varney. There's a documentary coming out in 2026, early 2026, about Jim Varney.
Okay. Nice.
I think his nephew, his nephew might have written a book about him, a biography. And they just released the audio version of that not that long ago. So might have him on to talk about that movie. I don't know. He brings me joy. It's just so silly, you know?
Yeah. It's like, there's a lot of talk about, obviously we live in a very anxious time. A lot of people, right, are very anxious.
Right.
And nostalgia can be that sort of nice antidote to anxiety. And I feel like there are a lot of people that watch the same, they watch the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
Like they have comfort movies. And I think for a lot of people, Ernest is that. Interestingly, I'm just saying this based on really no stats, but I feel like I've heard, fellow nostalgia lovers be like, I always go to Ernest or I always go to like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, or I always go to the Goonies.
Right.
When I'm feeling a little bit, nervous or not grounded, those movies ground me. And I think that's kind of like why we even started this podcast initially, right? Because it is a lot of that. Like we're revisiting things that we liked that might not be pieces of art. They might not be that very good, but they serve that purpose of comfort and familiarity, that we need, and you can access that at any time.
Yeah, because let's be honest, and I said this in the Tales from the Video Store episode, Ernest movies are not really good. They're not what you would consider. They're pretty lowbrow. But there was a charm to them, and yeah, like most of the nostalgia that I love.
Yeah.
As far as like, general consensus, it's typically not rated very highly. But yeah, it brings me joy. I showed Bodie a episode of Hey Vern, It's Ernest, and for Halloween it was like scary stories or something like that, and it's so stupid, it's so silly, and it makes you smile. He makes me smile. That's why I started putting him in Bodie's notes. Like he pops up.
Okay,
literally, Ernest is a part of Bodie's crew, his note crew now. So
that's amazing.
Because I'm like,
that's amazing.
He's just like a harmless guy. And Jim Varney is one of those guys, and I said this in the Tales from the Video Store. He's so uber talented and doesn't get the appreciation. I don't think he ever got the appreciation that Paul Rubens got for his eccentric talent.
No, definitely not.
So anyways, but it's funny you say that, because as far as like, the whole point of the show was talking about, the Wraith and movies that like brought us joy. And this movie, King of the Kickboxers, I love King of the Kickboxer. Did I say it's a great movie? No. But do I love it? Yes, I do. And I haven't watched this movie since 1990 when it came out. 35th anniversary, by the way. That's why one of the reasons, another reason why we're covering it.
Oh, right.
I kind of like, again, this goes with the being December, one of the comfort things I find in December was having a lot of time off from school and had my TV and my VCR and being in my room watching the movies I wanted to watch. And I love martial art movies. I love action. And I had a stack of VHS tapes and I would just like put one VHS movie in after the other, you know, and it's comforting to me to lay on the couch and watch a mindless movie all bundled up with my covers or whatever. And like just escape into these mindless 90-minute, you know, films.
Yep. Totally agree. By the way, and please forgive me, this year, you know, in past years, right, we have March becomes what we call martial arts madness, where we devote an entire month of March to martial arts and the movies we love. Did you do that this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Stand by.
Because I am like, you know, this whole year is like a fever dream and I don't even know.
Well, so Martial Art Madness was one of the harder months for me to cover without you, because it is our baby. And I forget who coined the phrase martial art madness, but I'm like, we gotta keep it going. And for that month of March, I had on, so I had Dale Jacoby on, who was in No Retreat, No Surrender.
Of course. Okay.
And covered the movie, had a celebration, revisited. Oh, but of course, Kurt McKinney and J.W. Fales. We have not talked about this on the air.
Right.
And J.W. Fales came back on, and I did a one-on-one interview with him here in Santa Monica at our studio here. And that was great. JW is Jonathan Never Fails, as he goes by now. I had David Ullman on with me too. David Ullman co-hosted with me as well. Shout out to David. And interviewed Oliver Harper, who's making the documentary about No Retreat, No Surrender, which is coming out, I think January of next year.
Okay. Wow.
And he went. This guy Oliver Harper has done a doc on Street Fighter 2, which is really cool. The whole Street Fighter franchise. He's a big movie nerd and over in the UK, and he got everybody that's still alive for No Retreat, No Surrender.
Okay.
And so,
amazing.
Yeah. And Kurt, every time I say Kurt, I think of JCVD. Kurt, are you hungry? I can't tell the rest of that story. Anyways. I
can allude to it.
So Kurt got in touch with JW. They saw each other at a screening in Germany of No Retreat, No Surrender, because whoever organized that was able to get in touch with Jonathan, JW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Kurt got me in touch with JW. Bada bing, bada boom. JW lives in Los Angeles area, so he came out to Santa Monica to do an interview in person because I wanted to go deeper into his career, which is pretty fascinating. He was in Breakin' too. You know, he was.
Yeah.
So
I know that. Yeah.
Anyways, like that was really exciting. So yes, we continued martial arts. It was a little bit different, obviously. I've got something that I want to talk to you about off the air in regards to martial arts next year, which is a pretty big freaking deal. Thanks to a guest that I just had on the show.
You guys won't know what we're talking about.
Nope, but we will talk about it later. But let's talk about some King of the Kickboxer. Like this is again, the soundtrack, spoiler, there really isn't a soundtrack to talk about, so we're not going to talk about the soundtrack.
Right.
But we are going to talk about King of the Kickboxer. Did you see this movie when you were younger? Have you ever seen it before?
So really interesting, right? I mean, this isn't actually really interesting, but it's interesting to me that No Retreat, No Surrender, which you just mentioned, was one of my favorites, right? I rented that all the time.
Yeah.
And then the trailer that, you know, they had the video trailer, you know, trailers even on the, what am I saying? Even on the VHS, there were trailers, right? And China O'Brien was the featured, right? There are some places in this world where a pretty girl should never walk alone.
There are some places in this world
I can't see you back there,
where a pretty girl should never walk alone.
but I can feel you.
Unless her name is China O'Brien.
My favorite, right? And just like, and that kind of whole world. And then what's even more so the interesting part is like, I hadn't really thought about this till recently, but Curtis Sliwa, right, who was running for, he was kind of the third candidate for New York mayor. So that guy, you know, he started the Red Guardians Nope, not the Red Guardians. The Guardian Angels with the
Yes.
Red Berets. Many, many years ago in New York City. It later came out that he had fabricated a lot of these stories to to increase interest and recruitment
Shocker.
in the Guardian Angels. But I used to get all of those martial arts magazines, same as you, right? Like I was obsessed with 80s martial arts, early 90s martial arts movies. But the magazines would always a lot of them would feature the Guardian Angels and feature.
Really?
Yeah, it'd always be like, it would be like these really funny little pieces, like how to disarm a handgun.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, and like, right. And then they would be like, they'd have Curtis Lewa, like, with a gun pointed in his face, and he'd grab it, in a step-by-step picture instruction booklet or whatever. Really funny, legally, when you think about it. Like, well, the guy in the magazine said I could disarm a gun this way. No.
You can stop your heart. You can stop a guy's heart by doing this. And then, yeah.
But the guys who were who were also actors, and it was kind of clear, right? Like, oh, this person's an actor and this person's a real martial artist. But the line, I think, when we were younger was never clear, right? It's like, oh, that guy can definitely kick my ass or whatever. And
right.
So all that to say is I never saw King of the Kickboxers in 1990.
Okay.
And in fact, I think it was much, much later. And I think it was through clips because, some of the, like the final scene in this, like they're just so good. I mean, I really think King of the Kickboxers might be like one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yes.
It is so good. It is so good. Like from start to finish, it's kind of this, I'm a fan of what people might call just bad movies, right? Like,
right.
But martial arts wise, there's a lot going on. There's a lot. It's just a lot of fun.
Yes.
Like, I have no idea what's going on for like most of it. And in fact, I felt like, the feeling when like, you're like, I'm not high, but I really feel like I'm high. Yeah. It's a lot of that too. And then also, do you own this movie?
So here's the thing. It's not available on
Okay.
Blu-ray. Like whoever, Kino, Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow, somebody please put this out because it needs a proper release. No, I watched it on YouTube.
It really does. And I watched it on YouTube too. And it's like one of those things where it's very evident, like what's been cut out or whatever, because the music will build and then just stop. And you're like, that's not a bad edit. Like that, or that is a bad edit, but that's not how they originally did it.
There's a love scene that was edited out.
Right. There's some love, there's some but the YouTube full movie, like even the fighting, I was like, well, why is that person over there? And I think that, and I kind of referenced like, oh, they actually cut some of the fighting out here. I don't know why. I don't know what was going on. If that's a YouTube, I assume it's YouTube, right? Like
I would think so they didn't get flagged for profanity or violence.
We saw a nipple here, alert, whatever. But all that to say, it's like it's very martial arts. It's appealing, the martial arts, and then you have guys like Billy Blanks. I don't know what this performance is, but I love every part of it.
Agreed.
Our friend Keith Cook is in it. Keith Cook from the China O'Brien world.
China O'Brien series. He was recently in Black Creek.
Black Creek. He told a story about being left for dead in real life. And,
all that's crazy.
It's all that stuff. And then all that's connected. And, you see, but I love what he's doing in this movie.
He's part of the Mortal Kombat franchise too. He's in Mortal Kombat 2, I think.
Amazing. Yeah. It's, and you can see how like Billy Blanks like influenced, certain things and like Street Fighter. And,
DJ's
right.
The character's DJ from Street Fighter 2 is based on his character in King of the Kickboxers. Yeah.
Right. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's fact.
Is that what you're? Yeah. Okay. So, right. You're like, oh, it's like a lot of those things where you kind of see how like when video game developers are coming of a certain age and then they're referencing some throwback thing that they loved. And it's super fun. So yeah, there's not a lot to not like about this if you haven't seen it, it really is just one of those, you can put it on. You can do other things while you're watching it. You don't need to be like immersed in it, but it's just, it makes so many fun choices that are so unnecessary.
Agreed. And like some of the scenes where you know that they shot these scenes separately, and it was proven too with certain actors that they shot the scenes at different times and they weren't even in the room together, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty obvious. But for those that don't know, the basic premise of King of the Kickboxers is Loren Avedon plays Jake. He's a cop, but as a kid, his brother is kickboxing champion in Thailand. He's an American. The people in Thailand don't like that, so he gets murdered by Billy Blanks, who plays, the ultimate badass. And Jake witnesses all this as a kid, and he's left alive. Grows up 10 years later, becomes a cop, and gets assigned to a snuff case. They're making snuff films in Thailand. This is another part of it that I love. Yeah. So they're making action films in Thailand where they kill off the actors that Billy Blanks fights. Billy Blanks, by the way, his character's name is Khan, like Wrath of Khan. And Loren, Jake, aka Jake, goes to Thailand to take them down, but he does not know that Khan is a part of that. And so when he does realize that, it changes the whole dynamic of the story, and it becomes a revenge tale, and all hilarity ensues. No, but there's these little side characters along the way, like Keith Cook, who plays Prong, who literally does the same kicking technique where he lifts his leg and he kind of goes around in a circle like our boy in New York Ninja did. And it was a couple years ago that we covered that movie, I think in November or December.
Yeah.
So it kind of coincided. Like part of me was like, yeah, it's not out of the box that we do this, here in December. But then there were some like connections. I'm like, man, New York Ninja and this King of the Kickboxers would make a great double feature.
Absolutely.
New York Ninja's way more absurd and over the top. This seems to have more of a somewhat structured story. Somewhat.
Because what you're saying is, and not to cut you off, but it's it would be enough if this was just like a revenge story. Brother gets killed. We've seen this a million times. Brother gets killed, younger brother or relative or friend or whatever, then trains to get revenge. And that would have been fine. You know what I mean? We could have built off of that. But then to add this element where like the bad guy is also the star of snuff films is so funny. Like what room, like, okay, so then we're going to pitch it. And then, then they're also like, there's this, underground movie crew that just, that fools people and doesn't tell them like, you're also going to be killed and this is real. And they usually kill people very early on in the movie too. Like, so they don't even like make that, they don't stretch that money out for anything. They're just like, we're going to pay you, $20,000 American dollars, to do this scene and then, or do this movie. And then they just like, kill them in like one scene.
Well, it's like they're viral videos before viral videos. They're putting out these TikTok videos of people getting killed in kickboxing.
Yeah, and once it's revealed, right? Like once it's revealed, like, whoops, this is real, then, the jig is up and we can't do a whole movie of it. We can just do this 5-minute fight scene.
But we'll get to the finale, which is phenomenal. But the scenes that lead up to it, there are some really funny moments because one of the guys who gets slashed for real but doesn't realize, he's like, what the hell's going on here? Like, what is happening right now? Right. But this to me, this was the first time I ever saw Loren Avedon on screen. I didn't see No Retreat, No Surrender 2 or 3 prior to this. And the director, by the way, of this movie directed No Retreat, No Surrender Part 3, also known as Karate Tiger. So in some parts of the world, this is known as Karate Tiger 4 or 5, because Best of the Best is Karate Tiger 4, I believe.
So weird. We just throw out Karate Tiger. It's kind of weird to be like, well, it's the same director, writer, and whatever. So it's, it's No Retreat, No Surrender 4 also. And you're like, but no, that's not how, many people collaborate with many people. Again, it's not like Martin Scorsese is always making Goodfellas 4.
Right. And at least, and even the most obscure, like, movies that have like sequels to them, there's always a thread, right? There's always one character. Iron Eagle, they made what 4 or 5 of those, but Chappie always came back, right, in all of them, at least. But this one, you're like, no, this is its own movie. This is its own film.
This has nothing to do with anything. Yeah.
No, and by the way, I like this more than JCVD's Kickboxer. I think it's better.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right.
I think that I honestly like the training sequence because Keith Cook plays, Prong, who's like the mentor for Jake.
Prang. He's sometimes called Prang and sometimes called Prong. I've noticed.
Right, and sometimes Jake's called Jack apparently too. And some of the
Jake is Jack and Prong and Prang, and I'm like,
Prang,
okay,
Prong.
Who cares? There's no continuity.
Who cares? And that's maybe the beautiful thing about it.
There's no script supervision.
There is a training sequence though that's very similar to Kickboxer, which I believe came out in 89 or 88. But I like it better than the one with JCVD because Jake, Loren Avedon is a legit martial artist. He's going to tell his story. You'll hear that whole thing the week after this one or soon after, depending on scheduling wise. It'll be coming out this month. While he's a legit martial artist, Billy Blanks is also a legit martial artist. Keith Cook is a legit martial artist. They're like legit dudes in this film. The TIE fighters in this, are badass. All of them. There's like little characters that I want to see more of. There's one guy, this big beefy dude that comes up to Jake at one point and tells him to go see Prang Prong,
Right.
And I'm like, I want more of that guy. Who's this like Asian Schwarzenegger looking dude?
I know a fighter, a master.
Who?
His name is Prang. He fought Khan.
Right. He meets that guy at this school. Let's just back up for 1 minute.
Yeah, please.
Because I'm not familiar with seasonal films who put this out.
Neither am I. No, I was like, is this Golden Harvest offshoot or what?
I love their logo so much. I was like, right away, and I know like we don't talk about logos usually. That's you guys are podcasting after dark. You're talking about logos, and
we talk about logos.
When logos come up. Well, you say when they come up. I don't know, like logo starts, don't you?
Yeah, no. That's true. Yeah.
But the logo of this, and it's up like a really long time. I'm like, this is a cool logo. It's just like a very retro.
I'm going to put it on the screen. So if you guys are listening to this, go to our channels and you'll see the visual of it. So I'll pop it up on the screen.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
That already, and then there's a little bit of 80s kind of late 80s music that kicks in. It never really goes anywhere, but it kicks in and you're like, okay. And I think, to your point about Kickboxer, this being better than Kickboxer, I think what it is for me is that you have this character that he's sort of a smug, douchey guy, but you don't know if how much is like him supposed to be douchey or how much is him pretending to be extra douchey because he's undercover. So like it has this funny element of like, because he's a cop on loan for this snuff film it's a joint investigation with Interpol.
Yes.
So NYPD is just loaning out one guy to Interpol to investigate the snuff films. But in the meantime, there's also this other element where Jake is motivated because he knows that he's trying to find the guy that killed his brother. And as a quick aside, when he's a kid, in Thailand and his brother's killed, this is not politically correct, but is there something with like younger brothers in flashbacks always being a little bit touched? Is that, you know what I'm saying?
No, I wrote down he looked like Michael Cera. I thought he looked like Michael Cera. I'm like, oh, it's George Michael from Arrested Development.
He's like, you are my, and I know that a lot of this,
wow.
A lot of the sound was clearly not clean, so they had to go back and like redub it.
Oh, it's so ADR. Yeah, redub.
But so the ADR is, I think, sometimes affecting the performances, because they just like came in. And, so it's like, but this kid is like, young Jake is not right. He's not right. He's just not right.
You're not right. You're not right.
No, he's like, he's just like taking Polaroids and being like, so happy. And you're like, what is going on? And it reminded me of like Jean-Claude Van Damme's, Bloodsport kid.
Yes. You gonna call the cops?
You have fighting spirit.
You're not gonna call the cops?
Not if we make a deal.
What kind of a deal?
He's wearing the New York Giants hat with the San Francisco Giants jersey. It doesn't matter. It's all Giants. And I just, I'm going to throw this out to any listeners. Are there other flashbacks that come to mind where there's like a kid and he's just giving a performance where you're like, it's not going right.
I don't think so. Right. I can't remember many.
Like a ginger, because Jake is just like, Jake has like bright red hair as a kid. Yeah. He can't really speak. And, and he's not coordinated at all. And so there's this whole thing of like, we can assume from that moment when Billy Blanks knocks him out that maybe he was inspired to train a lot, right? And never have that happen again. But at the same time, at some point, he didn't know who Billy Blanks was. He couldn't find him, this con character. So he just gave up until he saw the snuff film with him on it. And the snuff film, by the way, that's I think actual footage from No Retreat, No Surrender 3.
3, right? Yeah, it is.
So weird.
Yeah, and what is that? The scene where it's like, it's like a Bruce Lee movie without Bruce Lee or something?
Yes,
like that.
yes. That. So,
by the way, and this is a little bit of side note backstory because you're talking about Kung Fu magazines. James Liu used to be next door neighbors to the guys who created Inside Kung Fu magazine.
Oh, wow.
So he would be a part of that magazine a lot. That's a little side note. And then second side note is there's a great documentary out about all the different people that played Bruce Lee after Bruce Lee passed away. And it's a respectful interview with all of those actors that are still alive.
Yeah.
James Liu did one of those movies called Young Dragons. It's Bruce Lee at 18, before he...
Wow.
And so James told a story about that, but it made me think of that when he's like, it's Bruce Lee without Bruce Lee. And like, No Retreat, No Surrender 3 is not that kind of movie. Actually, I want to revisit those films as well, 2 and 3, because I haven't seen them in a while.
No, same.
But anyways, so many things going on. Young Jake is pretty amazing. There's a scene, by the way, a hilarious scene with the Interpol guy, Don Stroud. Don Stroud's like a legit, 70s actor. He's been in tons of movies. I remember seeing him in the Buddy Holly story. That's where I remember him the most, standing out to me. He looks like a big surfer guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the scene where Jake meets him for the first time, it is so like the camera's on Jake, and then it's on the Interpol agent, on Jake, and it's so funny.
You Anderson?
The river's calm tonight.
Christ. Do I look like a tie in disguise?
Are you finished yet?
No, I'm just getting started, Anderson.
I feel like Jake is like saying his name a lot. He's like, what do you want, Anderson? It's just like a lot of like...
But I love it. I love Jake's acting choices that he makes.
Well, that's the thing. And that's why I think it's better than Kickboxer 2, because it is supposed to be kind of funny and like that kind of smart alecky, like cop, with his little one-liners. And, he has a bunch of them that do not land really at all, but you can kind of see like
land.
They don't land, but they're supposed to kind of land.
Yeah.
But instead they just seem really awkward and weird. I think when he saves the girl the first time, he saves Molly,
played by Sherry Rose. They did not get along apparently. So
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
but he saves her and then is like, I forget what his line is. It's so bad where it almost just seems confusing. Like she's confused. And what is with this guy? Because he just saved me, but is he a weirdo? And no, he's just like, it's these one-liners.
Hi, my name is Jake. You come here often? My major's sociology. I'm doing a study in human nature.
His whole look is awkward because when he shows up in Thailand, I love it, but he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt with white pants and a fanny pack. And I'm like, dang, this is 1990, but it's also loud. And at one point right after that, he's wearing a vest, a fringed denim vest with USA flags all over it. Like, I'm from United States of America, guys.
If anyone could pull that off as a Halloween costume, you could definitely. That was the thing that I looked at that, and actually Erin was in the room for that, and she was like, we were like, Zach could pull that off, like legitimately, like you would look good in that.
I got a list. I got a list of all the things. Thank you. I will keep that in mind.
FYI, keep that in mind. But that would be, That would be, because it is, right? It's so USA with the patches.
Yeah.
And he's trying to attract attention as this like outsider
Makes sense.
guy, but it's not very hard anyway, because he's the only American in not in any scene, but generally, right? He's like looking for a fight, but you're like, what's the end game here? Because clearly he thinks he's the best fighter. He thinks he's good. And then the little Terminator guy is like, you're going to get your ass kicked by anybody here. So you got to go find Prang Prong and
who's great, by
train.
the way. Keith Cook is literally, he's like, he's drunken master, and he's so good at it. And again, Keith Cook, seeing him in China O'Brien with that giant box spike on his hand, the ridiculous box that he's got duct taped to his wrist. I only knew him from that. And then when I saw him in this, I was like, ooh, no, this guy's a really good actor. Like he's really entertaining.
He's probably the most believable because
And spoiler, he gets killed.
Yeah.
Unceremoniously. You don't even see his death.
You don't. And then you're like, really? Would he lose?
Against Khan? I mean, probably.
I guess.
And let's talk about this fight scene that Jake ultimately has with Khan, Jake Jack. Okay.
Yeah, well, can I just say, because one of my favorite things about this movie is that it's very well known that Khan has these 3 moves that he will always initiate before like completing the fight.
Right.
And so that Jake trains specifically to counteract those moves. And the 3 moves are like, he kind of jumps up with his legs and like slaps your ears with his feet.
Yes.
It's like I don't know what you call that. It is kind of a Three Stooges, like, no, like he just nails them. And then that's followed quickly by like a jump kick to the chest.
Yep.
And then while you're falling, I guess, he does like a spin kick right to your sternum and it breaks your ribs and lungs and then you spit out blood. So Jake, counteracts that because Prang is like, this is, you got to train. And he trains with these stumps that are attached to ropes that come down and like they simulate. And I love that, as the fight's kind of happening, the final fight, it's like they're sort of intercutting with the training of the trees to remind you.
It's a good intercut.
It's good. Yeah. It's good editing.
Yeah. Cause I think back to like other martial art movies that flash back to, like Bloodsport does that, where he's blindfolded and putting his hand in the water.
Right.
Or in The Last Dragon, they do that in The Last Dragon as well. This one, though, I think I like this one the most because, I don't know, like Loren Avedon's expressions on his face are so good during those scenes. Like you really feel like it reminds me of like old school Kung Fu movies from the 70s. Some might call it overacting. I don't. I think it's fantastic. I love those montage moments intercut into that final fight because it's a badass fight and they look badass, and so Jake is having this final fight with Khan under the guise that it's a movie scene being shot. And Jake is fully aware that it is going to be a snuff film, but he's acting like it's not. And it's such a smart thing. Like he goes, whoa, that guy's really dead, or that guy got killed. And it's so good though, because you're like, it's an acting choice. It feels believable. Like for a minute you go, he does know this is a snuff film, right? Like he's in on it, right?
Well, that guy's hurt. We should call someone. You're like,
right.
No. Keep rolling. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This movie, the pacing, there are a couple moments where you're like, meh, but the pacing overall is so good. It's just so quick, moves from one thing to another. By the way, and we glazed over a little bit, the opening introduction to Jake as an adult cop is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
The drug deal gone bad, basically, where he busts everybody.
You a fucking social worker or something?
I'm a cop.
What's so funny is like it, at least to me, I'm like, I think this is the first movie where a cop blows his own cover intentionally.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Guys, I'm a cop. Yeah.
They're like, ha ha ha. He's like, no, here's my wire. Here's my badge. He's just like, he doesn't give a fuck. He's that guy. He's like, I don't give a shit. And
he's a little Riggs from Lethal Weapon. I mean, definitely there's an homage there to Riggs from Lethal Weapon, right?
Right. He's a little he's a little kooky, he's a little crazy, he's got his little one-liners or whatever, and he but it's so I'm like, why did he blow his cover? He didn't have to.
Nope.
I'm like, nah, just a choice.
Yep.
And then I guess he also tells his squad that he's in a different warehouse or something, because then they all charge the SWAT team, like, charges or whatever, and they go, oh shit, this is the wrong one. And I'm like, did he tell you it was wrong? Like, which
is so great.
It's so great. It's so great.
So if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link to the YouTube version that we watched, because it's high quality and everything's in there. I think for a couple things that might have been omitted. And you should all check it out because it's really good.
You know what's omitted, by the way, outside of the nudity?
No, what? Though, please tell.
Is because this just didn't. This is how weird my brain goes. But you know how, like, at the end of a movie, like when a guy's like getting his revenge and he's like punching somebody and he's like, "This is for the Gipper," and this is for right. So he does that, but in the YouTube version, he goes, "This is for my brother." Hit, and this is for the last 10 years. And he only says two things. And I was like, oh,
that's not the version I watched.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's so weird. So he only says two things. And it stood out to me because I'm like, that's not the rule of threes.
Right.
It's not how, it's just, there's got to be the rule of threes. So then, and I'm like, I gotta find that final scene. So I go find another scene, the full scene on YouTube, and he adds in, this is for Molly.
Molly, yep.
This is for Prang.
Yep.
This is for my brother, and this is for the last thing. So he actually makes it the rule of fours.
And this is for the life you stole from me, you bastard!
But the fact that it just didn't feel right rhythmically, I was like, okay, so I was right, but then they added in four things. So that equally felt weird.
Yeah, no.
Too many beats.
I agree. You're right. You're right, because I'm like, well, you should have one less.
Yeah. So whatever link you have is better than whatever.
I'll put the link that I watched,
watch
which omits the sex scene. I think that's about it. I do have to ask you about one right after that, though. Get your opinion on this. So he kicks Khan's ass. Khan is down, not dead, but down.
Yeah.
And then Khan gets back up again, and he kicks Khan again. So really quickly, right before they have their epic fight scene, when Khan emerges, he's holding Molly like a sack of potatoes, and he throws Prang's dead body in the water in this epic kind of Thunderdome cage match that they're going to have.
Right.
So Prang's dead. Molly he takes and throws her into a net, right, and suspends her above the water when there's spikes in the water too. So if you fall in the water, you're going to die, a la Flash Gordon, with the spikes coming up. Anyways, end of the movie, Khan's killed by Jake. Jake kicks him again, and spikes come down like a caged door comes down on his chest and kills him. And then Khan reaches over and undoes the rope that is holding Molly up. Oh no! Everyone freaks out because she's gonna fall and spike, and she falls on the ground right next to Jake.
Right.
So did he like say, "Oh yeah, she's free. You can let her go"? Because the thing is, like, you win, you get to get your girl, and you get out of here. You lose, you're gonna die.
Right.
Well, he won. Is that Khan's noble way? Did you think it was Khan's noble way, or just a continuity error?
I did not think it was Khan's noble way. I thought it was his, I'm still gonna kill your girl because she rejected me initially.
Yeah.
And this is my one last act of evil.
Oh, yeah, because Molly, by the way, was like basically she's going to be whored out to Khan with other prostitutes, but turns out she was there. She was a model, and she
went to the hotbed of modeling, Thailand.
Well, there's a made-for-TV movie starring Jennifer Jason Leigh from the 80s where she's a model.
Then a young girl's dream of stardom leads her into a world of sex peddlers.
They're trying to make me a prostitute.
Ann Gilliam and Jennifer Jason Leigh are girls of the White Orchid, Monday.
Yep. Things go wrong.
Yep. So you think that she was supposed to die, but she just happens to fall on the ground.
Well, he catches her, doesn't he? I think that was the intention. Like it's really done badly, but he makes this diving catch for her and is somehow right underneath her. And no, you're right. It doesn't line up correctly. Like where she is, she should theoretically fall into the spikes in the water. But then he makes a diving catch, and I feel like we're just meant to think that he's caught her from going in the water or something.
Yeah.
Which is quite a catch anyway, like that he makes.
It's impressive, and she says she loves him at the end, so you know what that means.
Yep.
What does
no
that mean?
Sequel.
Literally all the film equipment at the end is blown up by the military that comes in storms, which is fantastic.
Right. They just like launch some RPGs into they don't even care. They're like, good, we were killing everybody. We're just blowing this. You're like, whoa, that's a weird, you haven't even secured the crime scene, but you may as well just blow it all up. May as well. I loved it. I mean, I love that. And I laughed really hard when that happened because I was like, whoa, that's.
Me too.
Woo.
I thought it was fantastic. And you get to see the Don Stroud and Richard Jekyll, who is a classic actor too. Classic actor with like a really menacing look, but he's really tiny. He's like a 4-foot guy, you know. He's not 4 feet.
Yeah. The captain shows up and he's like dressed like a Boy Scout with like a weird like ascot, and he's just like, hey, like he's just been on vacation for however many. I don't know how long this, you know, we talk about this a lot. Like how long has Jake been there? I have no idea. How long was he training for?
In Thailand? Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple days, right?
Months, days? Praying was true. The montages were going on a long time, but is this just over like a week? You know,
right.
How long is the NYPD going to keep paying Jake to not investigate this? And then, you know, and then they show up and they're like, hey, what's going on? He's like, well, good news. I just made contact like an hour ago. And they're like, whoa, all right. I guess we can let you do that.
Right. Well, I'm so glad you love this movie. And
oh yeah, it's great.
It's kind of perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect for us to do a movie one-on-one. Cause I was nervous. I'm like, oh damn, I hope, cause we are going to talk about LA Street Fighter on Tales from the Video Store. A little deviation from what we normally do on that show because we got to talk about it because it's stacked. Loren Avedon is in that, and he has a really funny story that he told me in text that I'm going to have him tell on the interview. Okay. But I'll bring it up because I'm like, you got to tell the story on the air. This is like
really
too good.
Funny story, but he hasn't been on yet. But he will be. But yeah.
So I have the documented proof. So if he forgets the story, I'll read it.
Right.
I wanted to bring up one fun fact about 1990 that relates to you in a way. In 1990, this is a video game observation on what was happening in 1990. It was a big year for sequels, video game wise. Metal Gear 2 came out. Dr. Mario, Dragon Quest 4, Final Fantasy 3. But new title premiered in 1990, Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, and the Blade of Light. Mm-hmm. So you're connected to the Fire Emblem series. You voice, remind me of the character you voice in Fire Emblem.
I voice Asker, the king of the Asker world in Fire Emblem Heroes.
Right.
Which is a newer game in the lore of Fire Emblem.
I did not know. Like our good friend, mutual friend, shout out to Chris Mayak, who wants to come back on the show. And Chris, you were coming on the show. By the way, something we talked about offline, Chris, wink, wink, nod, nod, know what I'm saying? There's a movie that we're going to be doing pretty soon in 2026 that we'll have you on for.
Oh boy.
We talked about offline. So, but Chris Mayak is a huge fan of your Fire Emblem career.
Well, and he's just a fan of
Fire Emblem.
Anime and Fire Emblem. Yeah,
You should all check out his YouTube channel if you're a fan of anime voice actors, because he has a huge amount of pop culture too. He's got a great selection of interviews on there, and he's been on the show before. He's a friend of ours. I keep telling him, like, come out to LA, Chris, because you gotta, he's such a cool dude. Anyways, I wanted to point that out. I thought it was kind of a cool thing that Fire Emblem premiered in 1990. I did also want to point out there's, video game, like the awards, right? Top rated. Electronic Gaming Monthly had their own award show back in the day, and they gave out awards for Game of the Year from Nintendo, TurboGrafx, which was a big deal back in 1990. Handheld Game of the Year was for the Atari Lynx. Remember that system? It only lasted for a minute.
I do.
But two that stood out to me was best sequel to an existing game was given to Mega Man 3. The Mega Man franchise, I think, was really rad. But
better than No Retreat, No Surrender 3, from what I'm told. But I also
I'm gonna say I'm gonna agree with you on that. But they did have a category Best Movie to Game, and the reason again this connects with Dustin because we've talked about this many times.
Yeah.
Often games that came out for systems that were based on movies sucked. I think we did a whole 80s Kids Unite episode about that.
Yes, sir.
But the game that got the award for Best Movie to Game was Gremlins 2, The New Batch.
They're back, and just as terrifying. Gremlins 2, The New Batch, the sequel to one of the highest-grossing movies in Warner Brothers history. Sunsoft is bringing this summer's hottest movie to video games with Gremlins 2, The New Batch, the video game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This exciting game stars Gizmo the Mogwai. And as you know, there are 3 things you must never do to a Mogwai.
Don't let them get exposed to bright light.
Never feed them after midnight.
You can't get them wet.
Or something terrible will happen. In the Gremlins 2 video game, Gizmo battles his evil spawn, the Gremlins. And because it's from Sunsoft, you know this game features an incredible storyline, the most challenging gameplay, and the Sunsoft trademark. Graphics that practically burst from the screen. But even more, this game packs awesome kid appeal through the fantastic pulling power the Gremlins movie has among kids.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So I've actually never played it, but the gameplay, really quickly, in this NES game, the player controls Gizmo through various levels in the building from the movie, armed with weapons ranging from genetically modified super tomato in the laboratory to the new matchstick firing bow and arrow in later sections. The goal of the game is to reach Gremlin Control Center to wipe out all gremlins inside. The Game Boy version was a side-scroller, also featuring Gizmo. So did you play the Gremlins game back in the day?
No, I did not. The only kind of good game I guess I can think of, because we haven't, so like, what was good, movie to
right.
Friday the 13th was good, but extremely hard. But
Yeah.
Goonies had a game called Goonies 2.
Goonies 2.
I don't know. I assume there was a Goonies 1, maybe for a different, but it was never released for America or something.
Yeah.
I never saw that. But the 8-bit version, right, of like Cyndi Lauper's good enough, Goonies Are Good Enough, is so good. Like the soundtrack is cool. Goonies 2 is also really hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I agree with you. The Goonies, there was a Goonies 1. It was for Famicom, which is the Japanese.
Okay, that's it. Right.
Right.
So that's
but then Goonies 2 obviously came out here, and that was fun. Yeah. That was basically the sequel that, we never got to Goonies.
Right.
So, and I never played the Gremlins 2 game, but I will say I was not a fan of Gremlins 2 when I saw it in the theater, and then I watched it fairly recently within the past year or so, and I found it very enjoyable as an adult. So, and there's a hilarious Key and Peele sketch on the true, basically what happened behind the scenes pitching that movie to, I'll put a link in show notes because y'all should check it out. It's hilarious if you're a fan of Joe Dante and Gremlins, because Joe Dante approved it. He watched it and like, it's pretty accurate as to what happened in the room. But God, there's so many great one-liners, and thankfully, because this movie doesn't really have distribution anywhere, we can put clips of it in this episode. So you're gonna get your full fix of Jake emoting.
That's exciting.
But I'm, again, grateful to have you on the show, like do this back-to-back, brothers and brothers, and I love you, man.
Grateful to be here. Love you too. Thanks for having me on, because I was like, oh, are you doing like a Christmas anything? And you're like, nope. Doing King of the Kickboxers for Christmas. And I was like, oh, amazing. Okay.
Well, originally I was going to get the director of 8-Bit Christmas on and do a whole like tribute to that. But then when Loren got presented to me, I'm like, I got to take advantage of this.
You got to.
So, again, it goes back to those times of what brought you joy during winter break and comfort movies. And just, this is definitely a comfort film. Who likes this movie? Let us know in the comments if you've seen it, how many times you've seen it. If you've never seen it and you're going to watch it, let us know. all that good stuff. And over on Tales from the Video Store, like I said, Dustin and I will talk about LA Street Fighter. Over on Legends of the Territories, Paul and I are going to be talking about Flying Brian Pillman as a legend, because the match that we're going to cover on Territory Marks will coincide with that. And then 80s Kids Unite this month, the theme is dances, school dances.
Oh, boy.
So
awkward.
We haven't recorded that yet, but as of this recording, we've got we're working on who's going to be on the show. Maybe Dustin can join us for that too, because there's some fun stories to be had. As far as I'm concerned, it's awkward.
Awkward.
It's Corey's pick, by the way. It's not mine.
Oh, it's Corey's pick? That's
funny.
He's
like, let's do that. I'm like, okay, I have a trauma story to go with that.
It's like the Patreon members aren't even suggesting things
Corey's
anymore.
A Patreon member, so that's the thing, y'all. If you're a Patreon member to Podcasting After Dark, a $2 late fee, go to patreon.com/$2 late fee. You can suggest the topic for Legends of the Territories and 80s Kids Unite. Corey is a patron for $2 late fee. Pays me, so thank you, Corey.
There you go.
And the Bingo Bango Tinga Tango. So he's suggesting it. Paulette was the one that suggested the field trips from last month. And if you guys have not listened to that, it's very entertaining. Apparently, Paulette, she went and panned for fossils at that exact same location.
No way.
Yeah. So shout out to Paulette. And then Sylvia, I'm just going to say this while you're here with me, because I thought it was cool. And shout out to Sylvia in Germany. Sylvia has been a faithful Patreon as well. Both of them are great Patreon members.
Yes.
But Sylvia chimed in on the field trip episode of 80s Kids Unite. And if y'all don't know what we're talking about, just go in the archives. It's a couple episodes back. She said, in Germany, we had field trips too. When I was around 9 years old, we went to a medieval castle. And I remember when I saw a real knight's armor for the first time, I was shocked. And when the guide told us that the castle had a ghost, I was even more shocked. That was one of the few days I really liked going to school.
Wow. Okay.
Did anyone go to Thailand and get put in a snuff film and, get to kick Billy Blanks' ass?
The best field trip ever.
Well, if I'm on a field trip with you, Dustin, I will be happy no matter where we go.
Oh, same.
I love you. And for everyone out there, be safe, be well. Be awesome, be rad, and do something nice for somebody, because guess what? Putting a smile on someone's face is the best feeling in the world.
That's so positive. I love it.
All right.
You are no ordinary fighter.
Thanks for the compliment. I'll give you the address to my fan club.
It's not meant as a compliment.
Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win, even in the 80s.